welcome back, nail queens. Before we get started, I want to let you guys know I've already dipped my nails once in this like French pink, light pink color. I wanted to give my nails a little French pink base before I start with the full mani. So what I'm going to do today are some French tips in solid and glitter combos. So that's why I have all these colors pulled out here. I have a solid and a corresponding glitter that matches. The kit that I'm using is the Modelones City Blossom 20-piece kit. So I wanted to show you guys all the ways that you can use this 20-piece kit since it comes with so many different colors. So what I'm doing here is I'm applying the step 1 base to my entire nail, and I'm going to be doing an angled French look. So I'm going to dip my nail at an angle in the solid color, and you just have to be really steady about this or else you're going to get some wiggly wobbly lines. I don't recommend tapping off, although I did in this shot. And then the other angle is going to be in the corresponding matching glitter. So I did it this way because I didn't want to just do all solid. So I'm using this French pink color and I'm pouring it over in the empty space above the French tip area so that it gives me a nice natural French pink look. So as you can see, most of the angle is the solid color, and then since I did the second dip in the glitter, it's only a small portion of the angle that's going to be in the glitter. So I'm going to switch over to the blue color. I'm doing a variety of colors. It's kind of in rainbow order, but I'm not using your traditional rainbow colors. I mean, I kind of am. I'm using like purple, blue, yellow, pink. So pink isn't really in the standard rainbow, and then the red is kind of like a hot orange red. Anyways, so I'm going to repeat the same process for all of these colors. The Modelones City Blossom kit comes with 20 colors, and I've already done 2 other manis with this kit, and I really just wanted to show all the different ways that you could use this kit in the best of its ability and use as many colors as possible or as few. I know in the first video I did, I only used 2 colors and I added some dried flowers. The second video I did some floral French tips, and then here we are doing multicolored French tips in a V shape. I recently did a French tip mani design video, and it's just your regular French tip. It was not as easy as this one is. I am finding this angled one to be a lot easier. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's because the angles look more aesthetically pleasing and I don't have to worry about the smile line being round. Here, the smile lines have to be just a sharp straight line. I did find this solid pink to be a little bit harder to work with. It was fluffier and more dense, kind of like a thermal powder would be. If you know, you know, but it wasn't like completely unusable or anything. It just made it a little more difficult to get the solid straight line like I would have done on the other ones. It's just, I had to be more patient. That is all. So I'm going to repeat this process of the French tips and pouring over the French pink here in this space here on every single nail until I'm done all the way with my thumb, and then I'm going to repeat the whole process. So this is what the whole mani looks like so far. I'm loving how it's turning out. I clearly have to repeat everything after I dust it all off to go in for a second layer. So I'm going in with the red again instead of starting at the purple, which would cause me to have to close my red jars and then bring out the purple. I'm just going to go in the opposite order, starting from red, going to yellow, pink, blue, and then purple. So I'm just going backwards. You don't know how much I need you. I think it was because of the length of my nail that this was a little more difficult for me to do. As you can tell, I'm having a little struggle getting it like perfectly straight. You want to make sure your powder in the jar is actually like tapped flat and nice and even. You don't want it to be uneven and wonky, so definitely tap the powder in your jar first before dipping into it. And if your nail is a little longer and you're having a hard time getting into the jar, I suggest pouring the powder into a cupcake liner and then using the cupcake liner as your French dipping mold. So this is what it looks like. The solid isn't a perfect straight line, but it will do anyways. So I'm just going to move on to the next colors. Like I mentioned before, the pink was a struggle for me to use, so you're going to see it here a little bit where I'm having to re-dip my finger in the jar over and over again. I don't know what it was. I think it was the consistency. It's an absolutely beautiful color. I love the color. I wouldn't have thought anything of it if I was doing a full dip, but since I was trying to get a straight line, it wasn't so easy for me. Also, just in case the question does come up, I can anticipate it that it would. If you're wondering if I'm contaminating my glitter jar with the solid, I probably am, but I'd rather contaminate a glitter jar with a solid color than contaminate a solid jar with a glitter color. I hope that makes sense, but the glitter color matches the solid, so for me it wasn't a big deal to add a tiny bit of pigment into my glitter jar. The colors are so close together, it hardly will be noticeable when the jar gets mixed up again. However, if you are mixing a glitter in a solid jar, once that glitter sticks to you, there's no hiding it. That shit will find you. And it will stick to you forever. So I do plan on encapsulating these nails, but first I'm just going to pre-shape, just gently, not too much, the edges so that when I encapsulate and clear, I don't have to worry about having a bulky color here. So I'm just taking my hand file and gently like fine-tuning the edges so that when it's encapsulated and clear, it's not something I have to worry about. You just have to be gentle if you do this if you haven't activated your nail yet, because you can mess up the dip powder if it hasn't completely hardened and dried. I will say though that looking back, I think it was unnecessary for me to do a first dip completely in that French pink. I have jelly tips on, long story if you guys are unfamiliar with jelly tips. I have a whole playlist here on my YouTube channel, but I have jelly tips on, so that's adding like a natural apex and a little bit of bulk to my nails. So doing that first dip in that natural French pink was kind of pointless because now I'm going to have a total of 4 layers of dip powder. Whereas if I had just done the 2 layers of the French tip and then the clear on top, it would have been perfect. I do think that the total 3 layers of the French pink did give it a gorgeous pink tint. I'm absolutely loving the way it looks, but if you're someone who doesn't like thicker nails, you want your nails on the thinner side, I would skip the first layer of French pink under everything. I don't know what I was thinking. For some reason, I just felt like I needed it, and truly, I think it was a little bit unnecessary now looking back. So I need to dust everything off and then activate everything so that the dip powder can completely harden, and it will prepare me for filing, shaping, and buffing. I am going to include my filing, shaping, and buffing routine in this video. I know I don't include it in every single video, but I do want to ensure that every once in a while I am showing you guys. I get questions here from time to time, and one question I've gotten recently is how to shape the dip powder over jelly tips. So you're going to be able to see that if you are interested in that. Jelly tips are pre-shaped tips, so these are not my natural nails. I don't have naturally almond shaped nails. They're jelly tips doing the work for me. So the jelly tips are making it really easy for me to finalize shaping. I just use the shape of the tip and the dip over it as a guide. It's really helping me just take away most of the work of having to do it myself and trying to figure out what would be a perfect almond shape. That is absolutely why I love jelly tips, or one of the many reasons. So I'm just using that guide of the jelly tips to fine-tune my shaping here in this mani. Sometimes dip powder will get on the underside of the tip or the nail, so it's very important that you take a file parallel to the underside of your nail and file that flush so that you don't have anything going up under there and everything looks nice and crisp. Having the edges and the underside look nice and perfect and flat will definitely help the way your nail looks when you're looking at it from above. So just if you're not used to doing that, definitely do those checks when you're filing, shaping, and buffing your own dip powder nails. Now I'm using an orange buffing block. This one has a 100/180 grit to it, so it's much like a hand file in terms of grit, but the grit wears down a lot faster because these are disposable. So after 2 or 3 uses, like 2 or 3 manis, I just throw the buffing block in the trash, which is great if you're used to your buffing blocks getting stained or you do other people's nails. So I totally left out the top coating process, and I'm so sorry for that. I don't know what happened. I think I just didn't hit record. But here is the final mani. I just need to apply some cuticle oil. So I'm just going to take some cuticle oil that I have here near my nail station. And then I like to put it around my cuticles, but also on the underside of the nail. It is so important that you moisturize the underside of your nails to help prevent separation of the tip from the natural nail. So here's what my nails look like all moisturized, and I took a bunch of photos. So I'm loving this photo, and I wanted to show you the other 2 looks that I used with this Modelones kit. I did this one for St. Patrick's Day, and then I did something a little bit more bright and neon kind of per se. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
It's just to please you. You don't know how much I need you, 'cause you're my home.